From calling out a host mid-segment,
I mean, you can't even pay attention for 60 seconds. You're a terrible interviewer.
to walking away due to intentional humiliation by the interviewer.
But you did hear it in some of those press conferences. There were people who were upset, and you're just saying,
No, I'm going. I really am going because all you have done is negative.
Or dismantling a popular TV personality without ever raising their voice. Comedians don't fake smiles. They strike with wit so sharp it silences a room. Just one line, delivered calmly, sets the rude hosts back in their place. Let's start with comedian Shane Gillis. It was a friendly podcast of Andrew Schultz where comedian Shane Gillis was a guest. During this interview, a photo of Shane Gillis was put next to a TikTok creator with Down syndrome, and everyone in the room started laughing at this.
Shane actually has been working out, dude. This is
Yo! Let's see it. Hold on.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Oh, you look good. Is this from West Point?
That actually is.
Oh, nice.
You guys, and you know what?
That's his rival's profile picture. Shane, can we click the video? I just want to hear the sound. I just want to hear the sound.
It's his Sue. It's
Sue. Yeah.
Nah, you look great, dog. Congrats.
I don't think that's funny.
But this was not a harmless joke at all. Shane, who has close family members with Down syndrome, tried to keep his face calm, but something in his expression revealed that he didn't like it.
But that's not me, so
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't get the joke.
The laughter around him kept going, but inside, he was pulling away. And as the conversation continued, the hosts laughed again, this time at a video of a person with Down syndrome dancing.
By the way,
Yeah. That's wild.
these guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
For you guys to sit here and be like,
Wait a minute.
let's bring it up and mock them. That's up, dude. That's a dude.
We're mocking
By
you. Yeah.
using them as an insult.
Using.
Yeah.
We're using you.
So you're insulting them by saying I look like them? Or
We're
you're insulting me
you.
by saying I look like them?
This is you back in your victim thing.
No, I'm not being a victim. I'm saying the jokes you're doing is not, it's not like,
It's not PC?
that's not cool.
Seriously, it felt like the show had crossed a line that should not have been touched. It was clearly shaming people for having Down syndrome. And when he finally responded, not with anger, but with honesty, he made everyone pause.
But I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. Bit of a day walker myself. Like if I tell people, if I'm like, yeah, I have family members with Down syndrome, people that have never been around it are always like, oh. Like Down syndrome's the end of the world. Like, oh. Are they okay? They're doing better than everybody I know.
But wish you could see the same calmness in our next entry. On The Tonight Show, everything began with light jokes between actor Burt Reynolds and comedian Marc Summers. People were smiling, laughing, think it was just another funny segment.
Watch out, he's got scissors. He's got scissors.
But then the jokes turned personal.
Who told you that? Because
My wife tells me that often.
she says, good morning.
I'm
you're
still
neat."
married, as a matter of fact.
Yes, well, you...
You see, Burt said something that touched a nerve, and Mark responded with a sharp remark about Burt's divorce. Suddenly, the whole mood in the studio changed. You can literally see he threw water on his face on live television. For a few seconds, no one knew what to say or how to react. Some believed Mark had crossed the line by bringing up Burt's personal life when he said this.
My wife tells me that often.
She says, good morning.
I'm
you're
still
neat."
married.
Others felt he was just standing up for himself, but it was still not as harsh as the next one. It was on live television in 2014. Chelsea Handler, a well-known comedian, was on Piers Morgan's show to talk about comedy, race, and media. But during a commercial break, she noticed something strange.
You tweet very amusingly.
I wish you did.
Turns out, Morgan wasn't paying attention to her at all. And when they returned from the break, she calmly brought it up on air.
I mean, in the middle of the commercial break, I want your viewers to know, they must know because they're probably following you on Twitter. I mean, you can't even pay attention for 60 seconds. You're a terrible interviewer.
Instead of taking her words seriously, Morgan tried to shift the blame. He even claimed that she wasn't interesting enough to hold his attention.
Well, you just weren't keeping my attention. That's
Well,
more
but
an issue
that's
for you
not
than
my
me.
problem.
Well, it is your problem.
This is your show. You have to pay attention to the guests that you invited on your
If
show.
they're interesting enough.
Yeah, they listen, it doesn't matter how interesting I am. You signed up for this job.
Of course it does.
Well, maybe that's why your job is coming to an end.
You see, Chelsea stood her ground firmly, shutting down every excuse Morgan threw her way. Her words were sharp but steady, and she didn't lose her cool. She even taunted with razor-sharp humor that his attitude might be part of the reason his job wasn't going so well. The clip quickly went viral. People appreciated her honesty and calmness. She could easily make him cry. Piers Morgan has one of the fakest laughs I have ever heard. Eventually, it was almost becoming something much more serious, much like the next one. One moment, Joan Rivers was sitting with Frederica Whitfield, answering questions normally on live television.
Okay, well, what about when it is about something, you know, that really does seem off limits to a lot of people? I mean, even in your book, you kind of joke about the death of Casey Anthony's baby, Princess Diana surviving so many landmines and who she dated. I mean, do you feel like there are boundaries ever, you know, even if it makes people uncomfortable or offend people, or what?
Life is very tough, and if you can make a joke to make something easier.
Next, she stood up and walked off the CNN set, leaving the crew and viewers in complete shock.
You know, I'm going. I really am going because all you have done is negative.
Are we serious?
The interview had started normally with a look back at Joan's long career in comedy. But soon, the tone changed.
Even with your fashion critiquing, while it's very mean in some ways, people can't wait to hear what you have to say. Really? It's not mean?
You can. It's not mean. I tell the truth. I'm sure I say the same things that all your viewers say to their friends sitting next to them on the couch.
The questions became sharp. The interviewer called Joan's style of comedy mean, as if her jokes were meant to hurt.
That you know, you have some shock value to you. I mean, on the cover of your book, you're wearing a fur, and you knew that there would probably be animal rights activists.
You know, this whole interview is becoming a defensive interview.
No!
Are you wearing leather shoes?
Yeah,
Shut up.
I'm talking.
You know what I mean? I don't want to hear. You're wearing fur. You're wearing leather shoes.
I'm not an activist,
You're eating chicken. You're eating meat. I don't want to hear this nonsense. Come to me with a paper belt and I'll talk to you.
But Joan's humor had always come from real life, raw, honest, and unfiltered. Then came a question about her book cover. Joan was wearing a fur coat, and the interviewer brought up animal rights. The moment felt less like a question and more like an attack. Joan's face showed she was hurt.
I haven't heard that. I make people laugh for 50 years. I am put on earth to make people laugh. My book is funny. I wear fur that was killed 15 years ago. I work for animal rights. Stop it with, and you do this, and you're mean, and you're that. You are not the one to interview a person who does humor. Sorry.
Are we serious?
Since the negativity didn't stop, Joan stood up and looked around and walked away. People also supported Joan, the most annoying interviewer in the world. Don't blame her for walking out. But the next comedian responded with even sharper lines in an almost similar situation. Tiffany Haddish walked into the 2022 Oscars Vanity Fair after-party wearing a custom-made Dolce & Gabbana evening gown. She looked elegant and confident, but just as she arrived, a reporter, Lauren Zima, greeted her with a question that didn't sit right.
Did we do a little costume change?
Instead of calling her dress what it was, a gown, the reporter referred to it as a costume. It might have sounded like a harmless comment, but it touched on something deeper. She answered in a way that was calm but clear.
I'm not wearing a costume. I'm wearing Dolce & Gabbana. It's called an evening gown, darling. This is not, no one's paying me for this. I paid for it. It's custom.
To her, this wasn't just about what she was wearing. It was about being seen and respected. You know, when someone calls a gown a costume, especially for a black woman at a major event, it can come across as if they don't truly belong there, as if they're pretending, or just playing a role. But this time, the host herself tried to ease the moment. But, you know, the damage was already done.
Time of death for me right now. You look gorgeous.
This is not an acting gig. This is my life. This what fame look like. This what success look like. This what money look like. This what it look like. It's what it look like.
Many people who watched the video later saw it as an example of how everyday comments can carry hidden meaning, especially for black women, as they are often treated differently. Next comedian is everyone's favorite, Ricky Gervais. He went to Stephen Colbert's show, and Stephen suddenly made a comment that changed the whole mood.
I know that you're an atheist, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. People have been debating. That's the devil waiting for you in hell, by the way.
It was a joke, but not a funny one. It felt like a dig, meant to poke Ricky and throw him off.
I don't need faith in science. I don't need faith to know that probably if I jump out of a window, every other time someone jumped out, they smash to the ground because of this thing called gravity.
But Ricky didn't get angry. He just stayed calm, and that calmness made the moment even more intense. Stephen kept trying to distract him with silly examples and sarcastic jokes.
Why is there something instead of nothing?
That makes no sense
You
at all.
have to answer my question. Why is there something instead of nothing?
Hold on.
Why does the universe exist at all?
Well, why is it relevant?
But Ricky kept bringing the talk back to the main point. What is real? What can be proven?
You say, there's a God. I say, can you prove that? You say no. I say, I don't believe you then. But there are about 3,000 to choose from that have been, people who believe in God. You deny one less God than I do. You don't believe in 2,999 gods, and I don't believe in just one more.
Right.
He spoke about science not as something perfect, but as something that can fix its own mistakes. Stephen, on the other hand, leaned on belief and tradition. He spoke with emotion, but not much reason. Ricky didn't fight back. He just showed, step by step, how science can be trusted more than old books that never change. But Jim Carrey did something interesting when he faced rude questions. Jim Carrey's interview at New York Fashion Week in 2017 quickly turned into something unexpected when the journalists started asking questions that felt too personal and forceful.
Say, Jim Carrey. Yes.
What?
I've covered a lot of fashion weeks. This is the first time I've run into Jim Carrey. Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
The interviewer asked him if he's looking for a date after the passing of his girlfriend is either cruel or just dull, but in either way, highly unprofessional. Carrey did not show anger, but he clearly did not enjoy the line of questioning.
No. I'm doing just fine. I just, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
When asked why he was at the event, Carrey challenged the idea itself. He said the event had no real meaning and hinted that he was not there for fashion or attention. And instead of playing along with the typical celebrity talk, he pushed back with thoughtful answers.
I mean, you gotta admit it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons,
in
boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. Do you believe in icons?
The journalist looked quite bored and disinterested as she found nothing spicy in his conversation, so Carrey took his responsibility to educate her a bit.
In personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry? You're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! Yeah. You shut her down now. Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off. I believe that it's deeper than that. I believe we're a field of energy dancing for itself. And I don't care.
He clearly said he didn't care. But when the journalist still circled back to the same cliche topic, he started messing with her head.
You got really dressed up for the occasion. You look good.
No, I didn't. Was
that an accident?
I didn't get dressed up.
Who did?
There is no me.
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream?
There's just things happening. and there are clusters of tetrahedrons moving around together.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's happening in our world right now? Because there is a lot of news that actually is relevant that's not that
Here's the
uplifting.
thing, it's not our world.
None
That's
of this
the
is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
Okay.
Well, no doubt Carrey was pretty sharp here. Jim carried this interview. And finally, we have the OG of shutting down rude interviewers, Bill Burr. Bill Burr is known for handling tough interviews, but his exchange with Bill Maher on Club Random showed just how sharp and steady he can be under pressure. At one point, the podcast stopped feeling friendly. Both weren't just talking, they were testing each other, which felt like a quiet fight. It all started with some harmless talk about clothes and getting older.
Oh, I look good. That's the difference. Is that you were
do
wearing
look good.
You're wearing
You're not gonna
sneakers.
throw that in my
You got
face.
you got a t-shirt on. Like
You look like a defendant. You look like you're trying to beat a drinking and driving charge. He doesn't have any priors, Your Honor. Look at him. He's wearing his Chelsea boots. He's a, what do they call it? A productive member of society.
Burr didn't care for Maher's big words and fancy opinions. He made it clear he thought Maher was showing off.
You know, Sanford and Son.
Yeah, but it's a little more pronounced when it's in the arts because you have this.
I hate that word.
Why?
Pronounced.
Jesus
Because
Christ.
that's like a PED.
You know what?
You know what it was? That was like a PED for your point.
Your wife.
It's a little more pronounced.
Your wife must be a saint. Because, like, boy.
Because you're such a victim right now?
No, because you do like to, like, pick a fight about anything.
You just said I was stupid.
Well, that's
He just came at me.
Maher didn't let it slide. He poked at Burr's laid-back way of talking, as if saying it was too plain to matter. It wasn't just about style or age anymore. It was about who was smarter, who was real, and who could win without raising their voice.
Self on the back.
It's easy to say, I'm for the kids. Who's not for the kids?
Well, I
it
don't
comes down to real hard-nosed decisions. Like a country.
Stop talking like you're a general.
They moved through topics, politics, war, daily habits, but each one became a new place to throw subtle punches. The jokes kept coming, but so did the tension. Their laughs got tighter and their faces a little less relaxed.
Well, you're an idiot. You shouldn't. You know what? It's.
What was this? If I don't agree with you, I'm an idiot.
You're right. I apologize.
Each time Maher tried to outsmart Burr, Burr made his point clearly, and Maher had nothing left to say.
Can I tell you something, Bill? Most of the you say is not smart. It's just sort of obscure.
It's not obscure.
You see, the silence said it all. Bill Maher isn't smart. He's pretentious. Don't you think? By the way, what would your comeback be if you were in Maher's place? And moreover, which comedian's comeback do you think was the sharpest of all? We'd love to know your views in the comments below.